Okay, we're going to do a really cool experiment today. This involves the oxidation of sulphur with hydrogen peroxide and a flame to form sulphuric acid. This will be quite an easy experiment, but I've made it look more complicated than it needs to be, because everyone knows the more complicated your setup is, the better the experiment will go. This is the bubbles. This is where the bubbles will come out. So this is what's going to happen. This is the candle. It will heat up the sulphur. This will form sulphur dioxide. It will travel all along this green tube into the hydrogen peroxide. That will further oxidize it to sulphuric acid. Can't start a candle. Okay, finally got the candle alight over something that took far too long to do, and it's now started to rain, which is not nice, but we're in a greenhouse, so it should be okay. As soon as we start to see gases being produced, which I think you can just about see, because there's some condensation on the interior of the round bottom flask, so I think that's any water vapour that was inside of there is being condensed, meaning it's being heated up. So I think we should start to be producing bubbles in just a minute. Okay. As expected, we are now producing bubbles of sulphur dioxide. This is then being oxidized, so we should be producing sulphuric acid just now. Okay. Sulphur dioxide is very smelly, so it's not pleasant to be around. Yeah. And I can't go out because it's raining. But yeah, it's working, which is good. I have spotted a flaw in the system, which is the tube needs oxygen to oxidize the sulphur dioxide, to oxidize the sulphur to sulphur dioxide, but that uses the oxygen in there and is starting to form a slight vacuum, which is pulling this down and then blocking it. It's still producing small bubbles, but we need more oxygen to be in there, so I think I might do another run with this with a bit of hydrogen peroxide inside the round bottom flask, because that might work. Or I could just put a small oxidizer in there, like potassium permanganate, like I've showed before. So I have noticed that if you look closely, there is a slight build-up of carbon on the underside of the round bottom flask, and also the area of sulphur around the flame has been all used up and it's just around the sides. So I'm thinking of next run doing it with a bit more sulphur in there, a bit of potassium iodide or something, or potassium permanganate, and hopefully we should get some more bubbles. Okay, I'm back with another run for the experiment. This now contains more sulphur, a tiny small amount of potassium iodide, and a small amount of hydrogen peroxide, so it will be producing oxygen gas through the whole experiment, so it should hopefully have more oxygen to combust through. This is slowly producing oxygen gas currently from the experiment. Okay, I'll light the candle. Okay, the candle's been lit, and the rate of bubbling has increased, so I'm pretty sure that either the heat has increased the rate of the reaction for the hydrogen peroxide decomposition, or the sulphur dioxide is being produced now. So I'm going to leave it for a bit. Okay, I can start to smell the sulphur dioxide getting out of this. So it's now officially working. There is quite a lot of the hydrogen peroxide bubbling has made all of this area full of loosely packed sulphur. I'm not sure how that will affect the reaction, but I'm sure it should be okay. That's now completely black and just heating through the carbon that's been a residue on that. But it's still producing bubbles, which is a whole lot better than the previous one. And I think it's now working very well. I think it started to reach the point where the hydrogen peroxide is boiling out. And I found that if I heat it, I can also start to boil other parts of the round bottom flask, so you can get a more uniform heating around the round bottom. it's going a lot faster now. There was a massive burst of like 20 bubbles in a second, so I think there was a little twist in this that was stopping it. But there is no vacuum being produced, so it's a whole lot better. I've just lowered this down a bit, just because I was worried it was going to heat up too much. And there's this massive line of carbon, so the carbon's clearly been blocked by that, and it's built up in just a funny layer. But this experiment has slowed down quite a bit, and it's falling, so I'm gonna stop the experiment now.
Through this whole reaction, I produced about 10 millilitres of product. On the bottom there, you can see over time, whilst I was heating it, it slowly increased the pH to about 1.5, which is roughly what I was expecting it to be. I might soon do a titration of sorts, well, not with a burette because I don't have one, and they're expensive. But I may try and find the pH better and the overall concentration so I can find out how well the reaction did. But for now, that's as good as it's going to be.